Enchanted Tiki Talk is brought to you by Kingdom Strollers. Our premium stroller and crib rentals are delivered straight to your Disney or Orlando area resort. It couldn't be easier. Book yours at kingdomstrollers.com. And Mouse Pros. Let our travel specialists plan your next vacation. Our concierge level service gives you the perfect hassle-free vacation. Get your free quote from Sean or any of our magical agents at mousepros.com. And Mickey Monthly, the Disney fans' monthly subscription box that brings the magic right to your door. Visit them at mickeymonthly.com. And now, it's show time!
In the tiki 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 hut, in the tiki 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 hut, all the birds talk Disney and the listeners swoon. In the tiki 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 hut, welcome to our enchanted hideaway, you lucky people, you. If you weren't listening starting right away, we'd be out of an audience too. In the tiki 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 hut, in the tiki 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 hut, in the tiki 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 hut, in the tiki 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 hut.
Hello and welcome to Enchanted Tiki Talk. This is episode 258 for the week of September 30th, 2018. So this week on the show, we have a fellow DVC member, Jessie from North Carolina. Jessie, what's going on?
Hey guys, glad to be here this morning.
Yeah, thanks for coming on. I know you just got back from Walt Disney World for a short trip.
Yeah, we just went down for a quick, kind of an extended weekend to accomplish two things. One, to attend the Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween party, and two, to enjoy Food and Wine Festival at Epcot. So,
yes.
Nice.
Yes, Keith's not here, so we brought Jessie on, and Steve, you had gone to the Halloween party. And yes. This is Jesse's first time with his family going to the Halloween party. So I was just curious to see, how Jessie enjoyed it versus Steve, not to knock it or anything like that, just, because Steve, you've been to several before, and Jessie, your family really is the first time for everybody. So I just curious to see how the contrasts are between the two of you.
From my standpoint and going, being your first time, I really think there are many different strategies or approaches you could take to the Halloween party. But, I think if you're going as a family, first time, the big draw, really candy, the candy trails, the kids love the candy. And for me, it's like, shouldn't we take advantage of the shorter the times, wait times on rides? And I'm thinking, this is really brilliant on Disney's part to draw you away with the candy, but they're still fun. Believe me, we enjoyed I felt like a kid again going through the candy trails, and we would even try to double, I guess you could say, cheat by hitting both of the barrels and taking candy getting candy from both. My son, he was a pro at it. He would go to every barrel of candy, and make sure they gave him a handful. So, needless to say, we came back with a ton of candy, which is not good for the waistline. But
did they dress up?
So what we did, and we had decided, since it was it being we're talking September here, still a good month and a half away from Halloween. It was gonna be hot, so my son he did want to. After he found out he was going down there the night before, he was like, "I want to wear my costume. I want to wear my Kylo Ren costume." I'm like, "Buddy, no, you don't. It's gonna be hot." And believe me, it was hot that night. So my wife had made us some shirts, kind of themed shirts for Monsters Inc. And we dressed my daughter up in the pink and blue, and did pigtails. She was Boo, and I was Sully. My son was Mike Wazowski, and my wife was Randy. So we did, that was our contribution to dressing up. But we saw some amazing costumes. In fact, I got a good picture of somebody, a lady who dressed up like the Elastigirl, but not the Elastigirl with the new Incredibles outfit. The Elastigirl, the old, with the G symbol. And I mean, she was hot. I mean, not hot in a looks kind of way, but hot in a.
She was sweating, I'm sure.
Hot, like ready to pass out, walking through the park type of way. So, But overall, like for me, the thing I think, a lot of the big draw there. I think a lot of people really love the parade, and they love the Hallowishes, which those were spectacular. But for me, it was like the extra things that you don't get during the park. I loved the Haunted Mansion. I already loved that ride so much, but the live entertainment they had in front of it, I thought the butler was incredibly hilarious. He was just cracking jokes. This guy walked up in a Peter Pan costume, and he's like, "Oh, hey, there's Peter Pan. I love your peanut butter." It was just
that's funny.
But things like that were just like extras, and to see, and I love, and I think you guys have talked about this extensively. The parks are different at night, and I love being there at night like that, and just especially with the feeling of Halloween. I think I would have been more into the Halloween theming had it been closer to Halloween.
Right.
But in my mind, I have to keep remembering. It's like, hey, we're still mid-September here.
Yeah.
So we come back, and I want to wear my Halloween shirt that I have and then I'm like, people are gonna look at me weird when I get home because it's September 27th, and I'm wearing a Halloween shirt already. So, but anyways.
So curious. Cost aside from the tickets, which we all know isn't cheap, especially when you have a family of more than one, but is it something that you think you would do every year if cost wasn't a factor, or do you feel that it's just it's a one and done, or maybe a two and done?
I would say if cost was not a factor, it would be something I would do, and I told my wife immediately. I said, when we go, if we go back, or when we go back for a Halloween party, I think I would approach it differently. Again, being our first time in the candy trails, I really think, we would have kind of made our strategy up to where we would have done, maybe like the first parade and, watched the castle show earlier. Our kids were just wiped out, and right at the end, and we were going to do the very last castle show with the Sanderson sisters, and we watched it, but they were miserable because they had been going around, and of course they ate all that candy, so they were sugar crashing, so we're like, oh yeah, well, this is so going back to, I think it would be great, but looking at it from a cost standpoint, I'm with the trend, I wonder if they're not going to make it more expensive, and with the new with this idea of the tickets changing, how is that going to affect the hard ticketed events, in the future? What changes will they make to it to maybe make it a more premium experience? I really wish I could have been one of those select fews that in the beginning, when the party was really was a killer deal. I kind of wish I would have been a part of that. So, because when you love Disney, you turn your eye to the price, but at the same time, you think about it. I mean, that's on top of what you're paying to get down there and paying to stay, and then you're talking, a family of four, you're talking, almost, just shy of $300 to go to a party on in October. I mean, that's that's kind of a costly event. But if you're just going down for that very purpose and you're not buying any other tickets, I might see where it could be a value add, especially getting in at 4 o'clock. But definitely enjoyed it. Definitely want to go back. But I don't know when, if we'll do it next year or not. So
gotcha. All right, Steve, why don't we throw it over to you and let's talk some news.
Okay, let's see. Some of the big things happening is that Disney World is going to change its ticket pricing structure and the website interface starting October 16th. What they're going to do is, they've talked about this before, and for DVC people, it's really this way already, but date-based pricing. They do it already for one-day tickets. They're now doing it for an entire trip, and it will reflect how busy the park is, will depend upon the price of the tickets, which will go for your entire stay, and that'll be factored in. What this means and how it's actually going to work, For some people, depending upon when you go, it's cheaper or the same, and for other times you're going to go, it's going to be more expensive. The problem is, as we all know, is that many people don't have the option of when they're going to go. Right. They're going to go when their kids are out of school, and that's probably going to go in high season, and it'll probably see some increase in costs as we go there, but you're not really going to know for sure until October 16th.
Yeah, I foresee a significant cost for Christmas. I think that Christmas and spring break, I think those prices are going to be a lot higher than they currently are. Yeah, Disney's just going to take advantage of that because they know that people are forced to go this time or want to go this time, and they're just going to raise it. I would not be surprised if you're looking at a minimum of an extra $50 per ticket for a week stay, if not more. It's just it's one of those things. Like, I understand the idea of it. In some ways, I think they're trying to drive people to lower the slower times of the year, but there is no slower time of year really per se, like it used to be. I mean, September is quieter this year than it has been in years past.
Yes.
So I know they want to drive people away from that, but once Star Wars opens up, I hate to see what those prices are now. So, I mean, as of right now, you have about 2 weeks to buy tickets before the prices go up. At least if you're on the fence of just buying tickets, I would do it right now. You have about 2 weeks to do so.
Yep.
So that way you're locked in for at least the next year. I think they're good until the end of 2019 or 2020. Right. I'm not 100% sure, but I would certainly jump on it now so you're locked in at the lower price. So if you want to go to Star Wars opening, whenever that's going to be in December, excuse me, you'll be locked in at a lower price. You don't have to worry about the price surging.
And speaking of prices, they did come out with their Stay, Play, Dine deal for January 1st through March 9th of 2019, where it's figured out about a 5-night, 6-day room stay may save you about $500, anywhere from $300 to $500, depending upon what resort you're staying at. That came out. That's available to start booking now, I believe.
Yeah, there's some really good deals with that. Now you're almost a week into it. Well, by the time this episode comes out, there's been some great deals for that because my wife has changed quite a few reservations and saved, like you said, I think she had 4 rooms at the Polynesian for a client and saved them $3,000 overall on the 4 rooms.
Wow. So
they decided to add an extra day. Because how much money they save. So there are some good deals out there. It's kind of surprising how good they are.
And as we know, Disney now will be closing Rafiki's Planet Watch October 21st. So the train, the animal encounter stage, the Song of the Rainforest, the veterinary treatment room will be closed October 21st. They're saying it's probably for good. Don't know for sure. There's a lot of rumors going out there that'll be reopened in 2019. There's some talk that the tracks for the train are problematic, so that needs to be fixed. But no one is saying anything for sure, and you never know. It could be coming back as a dance party at Rafiki's Planet Watch. Who knows? But there's rumors going on there.
Yeah, I'm hearing that it's going to be reopening. That's what I'm hearing now.
Yeah. And starting for we're talking about extra hard ticketed prices for certain things. The early morning magic at Magic Kingdom, they are going to be adding about 4 rides to it. And the Many Adventures of Winnie the Pooh, Seven Dwarfs Mine Train, Peter Pan's Flight, the Princess Fairy Tale Hall, It's a Small World, Mad Tea Party, and Under the Sea will all be available for your 75 minutes head start before anyone else, but they are also increasing the price by $10. So it will now be $79 for adults and $69 for children for your 75-minute plus breakfast. And the breakfast is moving over to Cosmic Rays, and that will be available. It's moving over to Cosmic Rays. It'll be available from 8 a.m. to 10, so you can ride your rides before people come in, and then head for breakfast if you're looking for that.
Yeah, I've done this before. I only had to pay for, I don't know, two of us or 3 of us. I don't remember what it was, but it was like 3 of us. It was like $210 at the time, and I sort of on the cusp of being worth it or not. I think at like the $50 price point, it would have been worth it. I think adding those extra attractions in there for an extra $10, I think that kind of especially for somebody who's never been there before, I would do that in a heartbeat.
Yeah, and you should be able to actually get on most of those rides before the crowds come in.
Right.
When there's no lines, things go fast.
Yep.
And the last thing that's coming up new is Disney Cruise Line. They'll be sailing out from New Orleans starting in 2020, and they'll be bringing back the Hawaii cruises in 2020 as well.
That's great. I'm glad they're bringing back the Hawaii ones.
I've never been on a cruise. I've booked my first one, a quick weekend one, for December.
Oh, nice.
So I'm going to see what that's like and give you my first impressions on those for what it's like for adults.
Cool. Sounds good to me.
A good research trip.
Yes.
A good research trip. There you go.
Exactly. All right. So with all that, let's take a quick break.
When the cryptos creak and the tombstones quake, spooks come out for a swinging wake. Happy haunts materialize and begin to vocalize. Grim grinning ghosts come out to socialize. Doom, 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 doom. As the moon climbs high o'er the dead oak tree,
Spooks arrive for a midnight spree. Creepy creeps with eerie eyes start to shriek
and harmonize. Grim grinning ghosts come out to socialize. Now don't close your eyes and don't try to hide, or a silly spook will sit by your side. Shrouded in a daft disguise, they pretend to terrorize. Grim grinning ghosts come out to socialize. When you hear the knell of a requiem bell, weird ghosts gleam where spirits dwell. Restless bones etherealize, rise the spooks of every size. Grim grinning ghosts come out to socialize. Grim grinning ghosts come out to socialize.
All right, we are back from break. So on this week's episode, we're going to talk a little bit of DVC, the Disney Vacation Club, which, as we've said before, Disney says it's the best kept secret in Walt Disney World, but it's not a secret. Everybody knows that. That's just their tagline. So with that being said, Steve, how long have you been a DVC member, and where do you own?
I think since 2004.
Okay.
And Saratoga Springs, and we then bought additional at Boardwalk.
And you still own both of them?
Still own both of them, yes.
And how often do you actually, being a Florida resident now, how often do you stay on the Disney property?
You know, surprisingly, we had lived here for about 9 months, and then figured, well, let's do a quick weekend trip. We wanted to get away from the house, which is not that far, but we went for a weekend. And we're actually, for our anniversary next year, we're going to spend 4 or 5 days there as just a way to get away from everything, and just as a little mini vacation.
Nice.
And we also use it, actually, we lent it out to some friends. There was our friend's daughter was turning 16, and for her 16th birthday, we gave them a week. And for her, and we've known them for many years, very, very close to us. So it was our present for her and her family.
Oh, that's nice.
And they got the tickets. They stayed for. It was 4 days. They could only stay for, so we did that, and it was nice. It was a nice perk. We got to see them. They got to stay in a place that they would never have before, right, because they normally stay at Value. They would normally stay at a Value Resort, or they'd stay at a smaller location at a moderate resort.
Nice. That's really nice to do that. Jesse, you're the newbie of the group. How long, and where's your home resort?
Okay, so we joined early 2016 with Polynesian, and right now that is our only contract, but we're toying with a couple of a couple different options to add on or to increase, because that drive to get back is heavy. So we toyed around with it for a couple of years before we bought it, and because we wanted to make sure this would be something that we would want to keep, because it's an investment. I think if you look at it, DVC might not be for everybody, but if for us it was like it made sense because of the the time that, we kept coming back, and we were like, well, we want to go back, more often. So it just made, sense for us to go ahead and take the dive, and we love it. So we have we've definitely got full use of it, and we. Sorry, Steve, we're not lending ours out yet. So because even though we're not too far away, it's just our points are already spoken for. It's like it's just like, how can we maneuver to use the points to get back, and and that's a game of itself. But just I've been highly impressed with with our experience with it. So I know I wish I could have gotten a time machine and gone back to the early '90s and bought up bought up a couple hundred points from those old Key West contracts. So, but yeah.
Yeah, so I've been since 2008. I owned it Wilderness Lodge in Old Key West, and as I've said up before on the show, is that we were debating it for a little while, and we finally decided to do the vacation club because I wanted to sort of guarantee vacations for my family over the years. With the cost of everything going up, and that's just at the point when Disney's prices were starting to rapidly go up. I mean, I think 2008 is like the point where just the arc just went straight up. So I wanted to make sure we had the ability to have family vacations and go to Disney World, because I knew that it was going to be a lot more difficult in the future with kids. So with kids, costs go up. So the one thing I'd like to talk with three of us here is I'd like to hear one good point and one bad point about DVC from each of you guys, and we just want to see how our views may agree or differ on DVC. So, Jessie, since you're the newest one here, you have more rose-colored glasses than probably Steve and I. But I'm curious to hear what your one positive and one negative would be.
I would say my one good point is that for us, DVC has been a way for us to enjoy the deluxe category resorts at really a value. If you think about the pricing and the long-term scheme of DVC, is that really it's a way really to save you money on coming and staying in those types of places. And my wife is very let's say my wife is a hotel snob, so and I say that with the most respect of all. She's just very, very particular about where she stays, and so it's like, me, I'd be happy just pitching a tent at Fort Wilderness, but not hers, not so much. So I thought when we first went down and we stayed, we shelled the money out of pocket one trip to go to the Polynesian, and this was before we became DVC members, and we got an incredible deal. There was a promotion, but the thing was I kept telling her, I said now we're not going to be able to come back and stay here like this. And that day we got to talking to somebody about DVC, and they said, well, why don't you come take a tour and do it? And we listened, and we weren't quite ready to take the dive, but then we realized from what if we were to want to come back and stay at a place like Polynesian or go to Wilderness Lodge or Contemporary, so for us it became the way that we could do those types of vacations and stay in those resorts this last spring for spring break, because I know my wife doesn't work at a year-round school, so we really do go in those high peak times. We were able to use our points to book Bay Lake Tower, and we had a view of Magic Kingdom, and I kept thinking, this room would be ridiculous if we paid out of pocket for it. And really, we wouldn't pay out of pocket, but to think about the value of DVC. So for us, that's been the good point, being able to go to those resorts. I would say for a bad point, one of the things that, and I think you noticed this, and I think it's going to be a problem until they have more inventory, is really availability. If you are not snagging up a reservation for DVC well in advance, there might not be the resort out there that you want, or the room category that you want, because DVC is growing. And I think Disney realizes this, and with the announcement of the Riviera coming, and also with the rumored hotels that they've got planned down the road, I think they realize that DVC is popular. And I even wonder, even with those resorts, is that going to help alleviate some of the availability issues? Because again, if you're with DVC. I heard stories, back, for people who have been, older members, and you guys might be able to attest to this, but you could really plan a trip on the fly. You could call and get, maybe get availability somewhere. And, with us being just 2.5 years into DVC, I think one of the things for us is, like, we couldn't just decide, hey, we want to go down this weekend, let's go see what's on, available for points, because it's most likely it's not there. I mean, there might be some times where you can catch a couple points at Saratoga Springs, but that to me is the availability issue is going to have to be addressed at some point, because again, if you want to be able to use those points, then you're kind of at a loss at being able to do that unless you know well in advance you're going. So,
well, most of that has happened because of the renting, the DVC renting. That's been a lot of the issue there. So that's why there's so little availability with DVC. Steve, let's hear yours.
I think it's pretty much the same. I mean, when we purchased, we were staying at that time, we were staying at the French Quarter, which at that point it was all one big happy family of Dixie Landings, Port Orleans, and we purchased and figured out that we would be able to go and stay in places we haven't been. So as things progressed, as things were built, we stayed at the Boardwalk, we've stayed at Bay Lake Tower. Still haven't stayed at the Polynesian yet, but probably will in the future. But it also allowed us to go to Vero Beach, go to Hilton Head, trade in with RCI, so you can go to other places as well. So it gives us a nice breadth of availability for our vacations. So if you want to go to Disney, go to Disney. If you don't want to go to Disney, you can go someplace else. And that helped us, figure out, we can go here or try something here or do something there. And while it's nice to stay in very nice hotels, I love staying at nice hotels as well, but there's something also to be said to coming back to your room and just, throwing stuff around and just making it feel like home for a week.
Right. True. Good point.
For the difficulty has been the availability, and the DVC rentals has the market in the past, I'd say 5 years, has really made it tough to all of a sudden within 3-4 months and say, hey, you want to go down for a weekend, or do you want to go down for a week? And trying to find something that fits is becoming increasingly difficult and increasingly frustrating. That if you're not right on top of the 7 months, if you're not right on top of putting it in, you're on wait list. Now, right. Chances are, I think 9 out of 10 times the wait list has worked. But there are difficult times in which you don't know until the last possible moment. And that really, I don't know about you guys, but depending upon where I stay, would determine upon, probably where I want to spend more time. Like, we would always, in the springtime, when we were able to stay at Bay Lake Tower, which was nice because we wanted to be at the Magic Kingdom and we wanted to go to Epcot for Flower and Garden.
Right.
Where Christmas time, where we used to come down, we would want to stay at the Boardwalk because the Magic Kingdom was mostly closed because of parties, and you had the access to Epcot at night and Hollywood Studios. So it was, there's lots of flexibility, and we would never have stayed at like Animal Kingdom Lodge or any of those other places by just paying.
Yeah, it's funny that my two are pretty much the same. It's, I'm not able to afford $500 a night to stay at the Polynesian. It's just out of my realm of possibilities, because I just don't think a hotel is worth $500 a night, really, pretty much anywhere, unless I'm like in Bora Bora with a hut on the water. That'll spend $500 a night, but for Disney World, no, I'm not. Even Hawaii, I think Hawaii's kind of pushing it, but that would be more of, we went there for a honeymoon, so it was more of like a once in a lifetime type opportunity. Right. That's a little bit different, but for somebody who wants to go back all the time, I couldn't afford that. So that's one of the reasons why we went there. I wanted to stay at the Polynesian, and when they announced the Polynesian was becoming DVC, it's like the skies opened up, and I heard I'll finally get to stay at the Poly, which was a dream come true. And the same thing, availability gets really, really hard. So you do have to plan your trips between 7 and 11 months in advance. And there's been several times where I had a trip booked at 11 months, and I'm like, you know what, it's not going to work this time. Let's try to do it, a little bit sooner. And I did not have the ability. I would have had to change rooms 3 times. So sometimes it doesn't work. It's hard. So those are, it sounds like we're all on the same page there. I bet you a lot of DVC members would probably agree with that. So it's pretty interesting to talk about that.
I would think so. I mean, and it's different when the whole thing is different than a regular timeshare.
Right.
Yep. And I don't think people realize that. This is not, this is a 50-year deal. And you have, and I think the flexibility. I mean, the greatest thing in the world was, when we went for the big sell, for the big push, was, when we sat in on many timeshare locations, for many other companies, and this one was, look, if you want to go on vacation, you want to come here, you're going to want to think about doing this. Right. If you're not going to want to go on vacation and you're not going to come here, you're not going to do it, don't buy it.
Right.
It was the easiest. It was the most simplest, calmest sale that ever took place for me, opposed to all the other places with the timeshares. And I think that was, I appreciated that. And then you sit down and you do your numbers and you figure out if it's worth it. Now, I think it was after 7 years, 7 years or 8 years, we figured out it basically paid for itself.
Yeah, that was about I think mine was right on 7 years.
Yeah.
So, which is fine. It's now I'm in the black, so it's all bonuses at this point.
Right, and you're staying at and we're staying at places that we never would have thought of before, and I think that's the key.
Right. Yeah, because for me, I only have 125 total points, so I'm kind of on the low end of the spectrum. I'm paying $800 and something per year in maintenance fees.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I'm going down to Disney for 8 nights in November. So I am staying in at the Polynesian and Wilderness Lodge for about $110 a night.
Yeah.
Wow.
You can't beat that.
Yeah. No.
So that's not a bad deal to me.
And it's not like you're getting a broom closet either.
No, you're
getting,
not.
A deluxe studio, or it's incredible.
Yep. So one of the reasons I wanted to talk about DVC is I had quite a few people recently ask me about DVC. One of the things was, okay, so I'm a DVC member now. What kind of benefits are there to be in DVC? Now, Steve, I don't know if you've done one of the membership magic events yet.
I have.
Okay. Yeah. That's something I have not been able to do because my schedule just did not work out to when I was visiting that. So why don't you tell everybody what the membership magic events are?
There are times where you can sign up and it's like it's almost like anything else where you get to sometimes you can get into the park early, sometimes you get in the park late. It's they'll have maybe 400 or 500 500 people who can stay in a certain area, or you can get in early, like the early events that you're paying a hard ticket for. It's very nice. It's a lot of fun. It's a nice perk. It's one of the nice perks if you're down here during that time. It's like if you come during a certain time during Christmas week, they have at Epcot they've been having the DVC annual party where you can go in. It's a nice little perk. It you don't have to worry about a lot of things, but the perks are kind of few and far in between depending upon when you're here.
Right.
For those types of things. So it could be very frustrating because it's like, well, yeah, that's nice, but I'm not there during that time of the year.
Yeah. One of the things that I do like is having the member lounge in Epcot at the Imagination Pavilion.
Yes.
It's a nice place to go, especially on a hot day. You go upstairs in the Imagination Pavilion, and it's a beautiful view of Epcot. I mean, it really is, especially if you can get there in the wintertime when the sun's starting to set and the lights start to come on. That's a spectacular view. But when we get up there, we have the Coke Freestyle machines. We can get coffee. We could just sit there, relax, charge our phones, and it's air conditioned. So it's a nice spot to relax.
The air condition is the key.
Yes, it is.
Oh man,
I would jump in and say another perk. That for us at least, because again, like Sean, we don't have that. We didn't buy in a ton of points. We bought in, we're just at 100 points. But one of the things that we've been able to utilize with DVC is buying rooms on cash, and that is one of the perks. I'd say that's a great perk because we try to, and there's all kinds of strategies when you're talking about using points and DVC and supplementing your stay. But one of the things that we've done with each of our trips is we haven't used our full amount of points for any one trip. It's like, because, with DVC, Friday and Saturday nights is going to be the most use of your points.
Right.
So for those nights, we try to look at rooms on cash reservations, or, like last year when we were down, we just happened to be down there, or we planned to be down there the week that Copper Creek opened. So, and I knew there was no way I was going to get a reservation on points. So I called them, and said, hey, this is opening up. Can I get rooms on cash? So we were able to buy 3 nights at Copper Creek on cash, and the price of the room per night on cash was what I would have paid if I would have went and stayed at, say, Port Orleans.
Right.
And and you're talking about a deluxe studio, and instead of just a standard room, and for that, I think that's a huge perk because it allows you, if you are going to pay to stay. You're gonna, and this doesn't always happen. Obviously, rooms on cash are going to vary based on, availability and the time of the year. Because again, you can find some killer deals. I think the first summer or the first year we owned, we stayed at Boardwalk, and we got, I think it was like $250 a night for Boardwalk on cash, which that's incredible.
Nice.
You're thinking about it, and now especially with this idea, with the parking, and I know I won't try to bring that up, but if you're staying at with a reservation, you're going to be paying that parking. One of the things with DVC is if you're staying on points or on a cash reservation with DVC, you don't have to pay that parking. So now that becomes a factor to think of when getting a room, because I think because we've even talked about going at Martin Luther King weekend, and we're like, well, we don't have points to go at Martin Luther King and then go back again, so it's like those are types of things we think about when considering how to spread our points out and use them. But and we have not, again, I know we're still kind of green with it, and we haven't been able to use the RCI part of it, but I'm excited about that down the road. I'm excited about being able to use it to maybe travel abroad. So that might be something to look forward to. So.
Yeah, I think it's $100 fee to go into RCI. I think $99, something like that.
Yes, yeah, I think it's something like that. But it's a nice. I mean, you get a week.
Right. Yeah, which is nice. I mean, because you can, and there's some really nice locations in RCI around the world.
Oh yeah.
So it's something to certainly look into doing. Sometimes some of the points are high depending on the time of year, but it is something to look at when you are thinking about going to DVC. But you also have to do it. You have to be a full DVC member. So you have to have purchased your points from Disney at this point going forward.
Well, that's the thing that Disney has done is they've pretty much killed any perks if you're getting it if you're purchasing resale not from Disney.
Exactly.
Right.
I think they were the last of the timeshare organizations to do that. But yeah, so you've got to be really careful about where you're getting your points from if you're purchasing.
Yeah, I mean, you could certainly go the resale route. And had a friend who went resale, and then a few months later, he bought 25 points directly from Disney. So he saved a boatload of money on his upfront costs on the points, and then he just bought 25 points at a much, much lower cost to be able to get the perks. So, I mean, that's an option you can go.
Yeah.
Did they recently, just to touch on that, Disney, I guess, caught on to that. People were doing the 25 points, and now the minimum that you have to buy to get direct is 75 points.
Is it really? I didn't hear that.
Yes,
Wow.
75 points in order to get the perks.
Wow.
Because that was one of the things we looked at doing, and but we ended up just going direct in. So at one point, that would have been huge to be able to have that perk.
Oh wow, that's good to know.
Yeah. I just thought of another one too, another perk, and a lot of people ask, like, was your tickets included in your DVC? And no, they're not. DVC is for the room, but they do sometimes. Sometimes they'll have special ticket offers for DVC. Last summer, they offered the promotion that if you had their gold annual pass, that you would get an upgrade to the next level, which was the platinum pass, which includes the access to water parks and the no blackout dates. So we took advantage of that, and that was good for us because we were able to go at spring break, because that was one of the things with the gold pass. Spring break and Christmas are blocked out, and so we definitely took advantage of having that upgrade. And that saved us a couple $100, over the course of all 4 of our tickets, maybe more than a couple $100, but that is something they do from time to time. So,
yep. And one of the last things I just want to cover real quick would be you do get discounts with your DVC membership card. Is you get discounts on tours, which is usually like 15%. So the Keys to the Kingdom, tours like I think that might be 10%, but it's between 10 and 15%. The Halloween and Christmas party, they usually on certain nights I think you get $5 off. It's not a whole lot, but I mean it's something. If you get a regular annual pass, I think it's $150 off your annual pass. And then they have I know every Wednesday which I have not done yet, is they have a ride Soarin' before the park opens. You're like the first people to tour Soarin'. So I haven't done that yet. I don't know anybody who's ever done that, but that's another perk.
Yeah, I mean the annual ticket price is not bad. I mean if you're buying for initial, it's a good, and then for your renewal you're saving like $102.
Right. Yep.
Yeah. And we figured out, I've done the math, to think, like, even if, say you just planned well in advance to do 2 trips within a 12-month span, or at least within, last year they were giving you that 13th month with the annual pass. You can really make the annual pass work for you, to with the gold pass price, because, if you're buying your tickets separate out, and now especially with the upcoming changes in tickets, I wonder how much more of a savings that the annual pass could be, and that might be a push to look at that. So.
Closing thoughts from anybody?
I would say do your research. If you're thinking about DVC, do your research. Make sure it makes financial sense to you. There's different ways to approach it. You're gonna, a lot of people always ask the question on any social media sites, is DVC worth it? And the only person that can really answer that question is you, yourself, because you know what it means to you. You know what your thresholds are. A lot of people will give advice like, don't buy DVC direct, because then, or unless you're going to pay for it all full up front, or buy resale. For us, again, we're like most red-blooded Americans, we have some debt, and we finance. So for us, we we did it that way, and we hope to pay off our DVC before our term, to save the interest. But at the same time, it just, we were shelling out money and it made financial sense. But do your research, make sure it does make sense to you, because if you're not a Disney person, don't buy into it for the perks, because the perks alone are not going to justify DVC. It's going to be the experience, the resorts where you want to stay. It's going to do it for you. So that would be my closing thoughts.
I agree. I mean, it is a long-term commitment, and yes, after a while you can sell it if you wanted to, but it is a long-term commitment. It's something to consider seriously, whether or not you're going to be wanting to come to Disney 10 years from now, 15 years from now, after the kids are up. It's not something it's not something to say, oh, I'm going to leave for my kids. It's something that needs to be used. The other perk, which we didn't mention to people, I think, is that you can bank your points.
Right.
So if you decide not to go for a year, you can do up to 3 years, I believe, and then you can use them all and blow them all at once for a big party or something to that regard. But you can put them together. But it is a long-term commitment, and it's something that if you're not going to enjoy Disney, don't do it. But if it's something you're finding you're coming back year after year after year, or you want to go every 6 months, it's something definitely to sit down and take a pencil out and a piece of paper and start doing the math.
Yep. I'm gonna bring up my wife's biggest drawback, and that is going to be nobody makes your bed and nobody cleans your room. So you just gotta be aware of that when you're staying DVC. So it's not like housekeeping. You don't get housekeeping in your room every day. You're gonna have to get up. You're gonna have to make your bed. They take the trash now, but just be aware of that. You don't get fresh towels every day either, unless you want to. I think it's $5 or $10 each time you get fresh towels. But yeah, stuff like that is not included. It's like owning a house. It's you keep after yourself.
It's the welcome home literal.
Yes.
Literally, this is your home. Saying that you got to do the work.
Yep.
So.
All right, Jesse, why don't you tell everybody where they can find you on social media?
Yeah, on Twitter, DisneyDad23. So if you, I might share something Disney related every couple days, but most of my Twitter is Disney because, I like to live in the Disney bubble. So
cool.
Yeah.
All right. That's going to do it for this week, but first we want to thank our sponsors, Kingdom Strollers. Get your premium stroller and crib rentals at kingdomstrollers.com. Let the vacation experts at mousepros.com help plan your next perfect vacation. Don't forget to check out store at redbubble.com/Tiki Talk Podcast. You can connect with us on social media. Find us on Facebook at Enchanted Tiki Talk, Instagram and Twitter at Tiki Talk Podcast. You can leave us a message on the Tiki Talk hotline at 256-4MY-TIKI. That's 256-469-8454. And if you enjoyed this show, please rate us on iTunes. You can find me on Twitter at 1 Minute Disney Dream. That's 1MIN Disney Dream. MouseWellVacations.com and MousePros.com. You can find Keith at Whip Daily.
And you can find me at Disney Diary on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and please check out DisneyDiary.com for some news. Thanks.
Yeah, I want to thank Steve for joining us once again, and for Jesse coming back into the Tiki Hut. Everybody have a great week. Alan, take it away.
You too.
Thanks for listening this week. For Sean and Keith, I'm Alan, and this has been Enchanted Tiki Talk. Aloha.
But yeah, I would ask this question to both you guys. If you could go back and do one thing different with DVC, is there anything you would change? I mean, do you think you would have bought more points at the beginning, or do you think you would have just done what you did and or not done it at all? So
I would have bought earlier.
Bought earlier?
Yeah, I probably would have got it in 2003. Probably, I probably would have bought it when I first looked into it. I wish I did then.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I don't know. I mean, when we bought into it, we actually were able to, at that point, do it financially. So I would have liked to have purchased earlier, or actually even considered it earlier. I don't know if I would have actually done it earlier. But no, I think when we bought in, we were happy with how it worked out, and I think it would have been nice if there were other places we could have gotten besides Saratoga Springs. We really wanted to get into the boardwalk, but it had just closed.
Yeah. I mean, I would like, at this point, I just want more points. But I think if I would have purchased it earlier, I probably would have had more points, because when I purchased it in 2008, our first contract, we bought a 50-point contract just to get in. And then we just bought more points later on. So that's how we did it, because I didn't want to break the bank when we signed up.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, they were having, when we signed up, they were having a deal. So we were able to get, I think, an extra, like, I don't know, 20 or 40 points when we first purchased. So we purchased we purchased a lot. We purchased, like, it ended up being 220 points. I think we actually purchased 180.
Oh wow, that's nice.
And then they added, but you know, luckily we were able to we paid it off a lot earlier than came to, but it was a good time for us. But for a lot of people, you know, I look at the point values now, and I don't, you know, I think we paid like 90 points $90 a point.
Yeah, that's what I paid. I think it was.
Yeah.
Wow. I don't even want to tell you what I paid.
Yeah, no, I'm looking now. I'm looking now at what's being paid. I'm like, oh my god.
Yeah, and the price has jumped almost $20 a point since we joined.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, and I mean, I'm looking. You know, I think you mentioned about resale. Like, we looked at, like, on resale for Polynesian, and we could actually make money on our if we sold ours. But
that's crazy.
You know, and that, yeah, I was thinking. I said that's quick. You know, but I'd imagine, you know, with Riviera, I wonder what their starting point value will be. I'm guessing it's going to be around 190. I really think it'll go to, just because it's crazy to think about that much money point. But, so my uncle, my wife's uncle, he actually lives in Ocean Grove, New Jersey. Sean, I saw him when I was up there. He's 77, and he goes to Disney every year by himself. He loves it. He was part of their opening day, and he got invited down and got like a mouse skirt. Anyways,
that's awesome.
He actually looked into buying it, and he said, you know, I'd buy it because I love it, but it would never make sense for me, you know, because again, and he's joking around. He says, well, I could just wheel the points to you guys. but anyways, yeah, I digress.
Enchanted Tiki Talk has been brought to you by MousePros.com. Let us plan your perfect Disney vacation. And MickeyMonthly.com, where you can get the park sent directly to you. And by KingdomStrollers.com for all your premium stroller and crib rental needs. For all of us here, I'm David Benter. Thanks for listening to Enchanted Tiki Talk.